The second part of 8.2 is called factoring by grouping, and that is a tactic you're going to look to use when all of your terms don't have a common factor. So if we look at this particular set of terms, some of them share some common factors, but not all of them do. So altogether, they don't have a common factor that we can take out. So what we have to do is factor with this technique called grouping. And what that's going to look like is you're going to take your two terms with the highest degree, which means highest exponents. So these two, to the third and to the second, we're going to factor those terms. So looking at 8 and 3, the numbers don't have anything in common or any common factors, but the letters do. So I can take out b to the second out of both of those. And then what we're going to do is look what we have left over. So this would be 8b plus 3. Okay, so we have that part factored. And what we're going to do is then look at the second set. And what I like to do is put a little plus sign here just to know that I'm not quite multiplying, at least not yet. You'll see what that looks like in the end here. And then this symbol stays with this number, indicating that it's positive. That's going to be more important if it's a negative. But anyway, we've got plus then, and we look at 16 and 6, and we can divide both of those by 2. Can't take out any letters or any variables, so what we're left with here is 8b plus 3. And what we're going to notice here is we have 8b plus 3 here and 8b plus 3 there. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting, something that we haven't seen before. The b to the second and the 2 have a common factor, and that common factor is this. So what's going to look kind of strange is we're going to take that and we're going to, that 8b plus 3, and we're going to bring it out front of b squared plus 2. So what we're left with here is, oops, nope, don't want to do that. B to the second, oopsies, sorry. So b to the second plus 2. So this would be our final answer, or we could have written it the other way, b squared plus 2 times 8b plus 3. So would also work. But basically then what we did here is, and this is the little confusing part, and it's harder to see this on computer versus when I'm showing it in class, which I will. You will have seen this already, remember. But I took the 8b's plus 3's and I took those out, and we were left with b to the second plus 2. And that's what we got. So now, if you ever wanted to check your answer, you could FOIL our answer. So first, outsides, insides, last. You could FOIL that answer, and what you should get then is what we started with, which would have been that. Okay, so that is factoring by grouping. I'm going to show you one more. I'll go a little bit quicker with this one. But this one has a negative in it, so it's a good example to look at. So again, this is one we're going to have to factor by grouping. So I'm going to look at my first two, and I can divide 14 and 8, both of those by 2, and then I can take out b to the second out of both of them. And then we look at what we have left over. So that's going to be a 7b, and that's going to be a minus 4. Okay. My second set is negative 49b plus 28. So here's one thing we could do. A lot of students will say, oh, let's take out a 7, and you would not be incorrect. You could do that, which would make this negative 7b plus 4. Now looking at what we have, 7b minus 4 and negative 7b plus 4. They're very close. It's just that the signs are opposite. And if ever you run into that, there's a way to fix that so that they are the same. And that would have come from, instead of taking out a positive 7, if we take out a negative 7 instead, it's going to change all the signs to their opposites. And you can always, that's one tactic you can always use. So remember, we should be able to take this piece and turn it back into this. So negative 7 times 7b is negative 49b, and then negative 7 times negative 4 gives me the plus 28. So that's where taking out a negative can work. So just know that you can do that, and it's just one little extra step that you may have to do in order to make your factorization work. So anyway, long story short on this one, we would take our common factor and pull those out opposite of the distributive property. It's weird when you're taking something that's inside of parentheses and factoring it out, but it does work, and we are left with 2b to the second minus 7. So again, like I said, kind of an interesting concept to look at via video. So if you have any extra questions, it's something I can go over with you in class. But also, like I said, this should have been something that you've already seen in class. So just a little review.